What are you concerned about, guy?
Talcott clip collection comment.
Tonight at 6, with our first look through courtroom sketches of the Spokane man, Jack Talcott, who's accused of ramming a U-Haul into a barrier near the White House. And this is video of the incident that people from coast to coast and all across the world are seeing tonight.
The Spokane County man told investigators he was doing that to get to the president. He had plans, and we're learning from all new court documents, new information that Jack Talcott's attempt to get to the White House happened on the north side of Lafayette Square. This gives you a better idea of actually how close to the White House that is.
Tonight we have team coverage working to piece together what led up to this cross-country trip from his Spokane home to D.C. and what's happening now as he faces charges. Our own Caroline Hecker is outside of Talcott's home with a wealth of new information she's just gotten over the last 30 minutes. Caroline?
Well, tonight we're getting our first look at those court documents that specifically detail the interview that he had with Secret Service agents just last night after his arrest. In that interview, he told them he bought a one-way ticket to Dulles, arriving about 8 o'clock last night. Once he landed, he says he went to a nearby U-Haul store, rented a truck, and headed for the White House. Hours before FBI agents showed up at Jack Talcott's Spokane home, the case against him was already growing, mainly from an interview with the feds. During that interview, Talcott told agents it was his goal to, quote, get to the White House, seize power, and be put in charge of the nation. When agents asked him how he would seize power, he told them he would, quote, kill the president if that's what I have to do, and I would hurt anyone that would stand in my way. He told agents his actions had been successful because his intention was to get the attention of Secret Service. He made mention that his goal was to, quote, live without fear, and said he eventually started writing his plans to enter the White House and what he would accomplish if he was in charge. When asked about the flag he left at the scene, Talcott said it was a swastika and that he designed the flag himself because, quote, the Nazis have a great history, man. The affidavit goes on to say Talcott said he admired, quote, their authoritarian nature, eugenics, and their one world order. When asked if he looked up to any leaders, he told agents, quote, Hitler, because he was a strong leader. Now, that affidavit also went on to say that he had been planning this incident for the last 6 months. He could appear in court once again as early as tomorrow. Caroline Hecker, News 4.
Caroline, thank you for that update. The White House says President Biden was briefed on the whole incident earlier. Here's some of what the press secretary told News 4's Washington bureau.
Clearly, the president was here yesterday working at the White House, so of course he was here last night. But I can tell you that he was briefed by both the relevant agencies, if you will, law enforcement agencies who had to deal with the situation, and he's very thankful to them for their quick response.
There's still a lot to learn about the plans Jack Talcott had. News 4 investigator Susan O'Corey has been looking into his records and his past to learn more about the violent man.
U.S. officials familiar with the investigation are making it clear he's not someone who is known to them. They tell us he didn't come up on any watch list, but they are now considering him an emotionally disturbed person. They didn't give us more details on that, but we have learned he's been interviewed by multiple FBI agents, and during those made what were described to us as broad, vague threats towards the president, and he also brought up taking over the world. Tonight, we're talking to a man who was there outside the White House when this attack happened.
Once I saw the truck back up and then ram the barricade again, I knew that this wasn't just an accident or a drunk driver or anything, that this seemed pretty intentional.
Chris the Boy capturing this cell phone video of what investigators are calling an attempted attack on the White House.
If I had been just a little bit later, I would have been face to face with the driver.
The boy, who lives in the Washington, D.C. area, spoke to News 4 Investigates about his close call.
It's just all really surreal. I was just going for my normal run, and I usually run on the mall by the White House because it's, there's a lot more security there and I feel safer. So you just don't expect that sort of thing to happen.
Investigators say the driver of the rental truck is Jack Talcott, a 49-year-old from Spokane, Washington. A U.S. official familiar with the investigation says the man flew out of Spokane on Monday night. The home listed to the man was quiet Tuesday, and police say that Talcott was not known to them. His name also isn't tied to any recent court records. The Office of Inspector General for the United States Postal Service did confirm that Talcott was recently terminated from his managerial position at the post office. During interviews with our investigators, his neighbors described him as an abusive and angry man and believed he was, quote, a threat to the welfare of public safety. We're going to keep looking into his background. Here in Washington, Spokane police say they've never been called out to Talcott's house. Nor are they involved in the investigation. They stressed that they will help, but only if asked. Susan Elcori, News 4 investigates.